Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the annual meeting of the Town Council of Whitby. Please be seated. Notice of meeting. Public notice of the meeting is given in accordance with Schedule 12, paragraph 10.2 of the Local Government Act 1972. The agenda. Item 1. The election of Town Mayor for the municipal year 2024-25. Do we have any nominations? Thank you. Do we have any other nominations? Proposed by Councillor Cotton, seconded by Councillor Wild. We move to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Moving on, number 2, the election of Deputy Town Mayor for the municipal year 2024-25. Has not?
First, Councillor Parson.
You willing to accept the nomination? Do we have a seconder? Councillor Brown. Any other nominations? Move to the vote. All those in favour, Councillor Harston. Against? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Agenda item 3, apologies for absence. To receive and withdraw apologies for inability to attend.
Chair, I have apologies from Councillor Goodbury and Councillor Harrison.
Can we receive those apologies? Councillor Wild, seconded Councillor Turner. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Agenda item 4, declaration of interest. To declare any interest which members have in the following agenda items. Councillor, do you wish to declare any interests? Councillor Austin.
Many broad interests that I am on many of the
I'm not sure if I need to declare this or not, but hadn't realised the planning permission for the maritime hub was coming up. Just to say, I have responded to public consultation on that. I don't know if I need to. I don't know if that's or not.
Chair, when Councillor Francis, have you formally commented on the planning application?
I have said I am in favour of the planning application, and given my name and address.
That was in the public consultations that were held.
I've done both. I've done the public consultation and I've done the planning consultation.
It's not an issue of interest. There's a potential issue of determination unless you can assure the meeting that you are willing to listen to and to go along with the conclusion of the meeting on the council's response.
I can assure you of that, as I said when I first joined the committee. I'm here to help without fear or favour on any subject.
Thank you. Councillor, did you raise your hand?
Did Mr. Mayor. I can't hear down there. I didn't hear a word, Councillor, and I'm struggling with Councillor Brown. Can got microphone, can we?
Yes, certainly. So who did you hear?
Pardon?
Who did you hear?
Deputy Mayor.
Do you want to swap places with me?
No.
I'm quite happy to.
No. We can have an hearing facility. Microphone.
Councillor Harston stated he was an ordinary member of the Lytton Field Society, and Councillor Brown stated that she has commented on the planning application for the harbour building.
Right, thank you for that.
Councillor Wyatt?
I'm on the project group for my town hall. I'm also on the town hall board. I'm also on
Chair, if matters of interest are part of the register of interest, then they don't have to be restated.
Thank you.
I think that will apply to me, then I should put the following as a member of the town deal board, Mr. Mayor.
Right, thank you. Any other councillors declaring interest?
If they're always on the register of interest, they don't have to be restated, do they?
That's correct, Chair. It doesn't have to be restated at this point in the meeting, but obviously if there was a conflict of interest, then the rules would still apply in terms of not taking part in a debate or withdrawing from the debate at that point.
Everything I am a member of is on the register of interest.
Thank you very much. Public participation. Standing orders will be suspended for 15 minutes to allow questions or statements submitted by members of the public, limited to 3 minutes per person. Would any members of the public wish to speak? No? Thank you very much. Moving on. External reports. 6. To receive reports on behalf of external bodies if present. A. North Yorkshire Police.
I think, Chair, they're not able to be with us this evening.
Thank you. North Yorkshire Council. Council, who's going to speak first? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can you just excuse me for a few minutes? I'm having a bit of trouble with my hearing.
I've got a microphone, Councillor Riddle, here, if you can. I'm just moving it back, Chair, so I can keep my notes on one side. It's working.
It should be on. There's a switch on, Councillor. Could you test it? It makes it feeding it closer.
Yes, it's on. Is that right? No.
Right, yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, testing. Rolling Stones will be on in 5 minutes. Right. Sounds a bit better. Thank you. A few things to catch up on, Mr. Mayor, since I was last here, 2 months ago. For a lot of people, some of that time has been filled with work on the mayoral election, which took place on May 2nd. And I'm not trying to make any political points out of that, so I was very satisfied with the result, as you can imagine. But my point is really about the involvement of people in that election process. And North Yorkshire Council is now being the largest county in terms of area, and it's very spread out in many parts. Nearly 540 polling stations in a variety of venues, including village halls and village pubs, requiring 2,000 polling staff to run them, in addition to 90,000 postal voters and 500 staff required across 3 county locations. A further 420 North Yorkshire Council employees were required to work on either election duties before and during the election count. The election was run with the City of York Council as well, with 5 of the 6 candidates from North Yorkshire, indeed 4 of the 6 being North Yorkshire councillors. And the result which elected David Scaife to be the Mayor of York and North Yorkshire Combined Authority, puts into place the final piece of the Mayoral Combined Authority, in which the Mayor was elected to chair the Mayoral Combined Authority. The final piece of the recruitment is the recruitment of the Chief Executive for the Mayoral Combined Authority, and the adverts have been placed. I think I've seen one, and interviews and selection take place on June the 3rd. So the process is now almost in place for making York and North Yorkshire a combined mayoral authority. That was a big piece of work. Not such a large piece of work has been the housing strategy, which has been developed, and you may remember that I reported on that, and I think probably Councillor Trumper did as well. When there was a consultation, people were given the opportunity of stating their positions. Now the housing strategy is in place, and I think people will be pleased to hear that there is an emphasis on affordable housing across North Yorkshire, developing a housing investment plan which will include growing our own council housing stock, which I believe is about 8,000 now with the amalgamated housing stock of those councils which have a housing revenue account. Also exploring the housing development potential of publicly owned land, including council-owned sites, and working with York and North Yorkshire Housing Partnership to deliver the right homes in the right places, retrofit our homes, and invest in employment opportunities, including green skills. So the framework is now in place for North Yorkshire, brings together all the 8 councils in a combined approach. And I was very glad that I did manage to, in both my contribution to the consultation and in a conversation I had with the executive member who's responsible for housing, to stress the particular plight of housing in Whitby. Because I think Whitby is easy to forget when you're in Northallerton and Thirsk and so on and so forth. We are stuck out over on the coast, but we have a crisis, and I did try and emphasise that. And there's a sentence, I'll just read you if I may. The attractive nature of North Yorkshire makes it a popular holiday destination. We know that. Since the pandemic, the demand for staycations has risen, which has resulted in an increase in the levels of short-term holiday lets. Decreasing numbers of private rentals result in higher demand and rising rents, making private rented homes less affordable to would-be renters on low incomes. It is also severely affecting the overall supply of residential housing in locations such as Whitby, Filey, coastal villages and much of the national park. As a result, we urgently need to increase the supply of affordable housing, especially within these localities. So I think that gives Councillor Trumper and myself a foot in the door to press that in the commitment to build new council properties, that there's a fair distribution for Whitby and coastal areas. One issue which I want to just touch on is phones and broadband. You may be aware that landlines are going to be discontinued, which is kind of shocking for people because you've always had a landline during your lifetime, and it's always been available from what may. It runs on its own electricity and you don't need to plug it into the mains. And for elderly people and people on telecare and so on, it's a lifeline. But apparently the telecoms companies have persuaded the government to discontinue landlines from 2025, December 25, and instead to put voice over internet protocol lines in, or allow that, or make that happen, so that your phone will run off broadband rather than down the wire to the telephone exchange. I think it's been pointed out to the government number of times that this is quite serious for quite a lot of people, and I'm not sure that the message has got out there that this is going to even happen. But the government has said that it will be delayed for people who are considered to be vulnerable. So I think it behoves us as local councillors to make sure that we contact elderly people, or elderly people are contacted, and people who are dependent on telecare are contacted. By telecare I mean sort of, care delivered down the phone line. Also, I'll throw into this, and I don't know whether Councillor Trumper has got more to add on that, but both myself and Councillor Trumper were engaged by Virgin Media recently to tell us that there is going to be a process by which 2 megabit connections are supplied to the majority of homes in Whitby. And this could be disruptive. In the main, I think it is mostly putting boxes on telegraph poles, but it will involve some digging up of pavements. And that's kind of inevitable when you're putting fibre connections to every premise in Whitby, or a large proportion of premises. So it'll be available for both residential and for commercial properties. The benefits of that are that we will have super fast broadband. I don't know anywhere who's got 2 gigabit broadband. 1 gigabit has been the challenge until now. We can have a discussion about whether it makes sense to have both Virgin Media putting in wiring, and then probably BT Openreach and others all running parallel digital connections on fibre to the same houses. But unfortunately it's a free market, and that's how the government has chosen to develop it. I have to say I'm rather be in favour of having a state system that was let out to these companies to use, and there's no particular reason why that shouldn't happen technically, I understand. So I've got one other thing, and then just finally come on to quite an important issue, which I think Councillor Trump and Matt will pick up on it as well. I have reported in the past on the situation with the Alpamari Water Park in Scarborough, and the last update I gave was that North Yorkshire Council had managed to take it back from the leaseholders who had gone into liquidation, and that happened around December. So North Yorkshire Council has been in control for some little time, but it's now only just now assessing the situation, what needs doing to it to make it viable to open it this year. And almost immediately they have gone into a procurement to find a short-term operator for the first year. And there's a process going on. The tenders are out, tenders are in, so we hope that will become clear that there is a viable operator. The date has been set 21st of May that the executive will actually review the decision for the short-term operator. And finally, the item which is probably not the most serious that I've got to mention, and I just had a brief chat with my colleague, and I think we're both very concerned about it, and that is the situation with Anglo-American. Anglo-American, as you're aware, took over from Sirius Minerals some years ago to develop the polyhalite mine on the moors above Whitby, and it's a huge operation now, and its repercussions for our local economy are enormous. Some 2,000 people are employed there, 1,400 of them are local in the sense of no more than an hour's drive. There's a huge amount of investment going in, and the Woodsmith Foundation is channeling funds into a variety of community organisations and groups, which I think people are very pleased to benefit from. The announcement recently was that Anglo-American, which is a huge mining conglomerate which straddles the world, their rival, or one of their rivals, BHP, which is the largest mining company in the world based in Australia, was making a takeover bid for Anglo-American, and it had been rejected by Anglo-American, and everybody I think, probably breathed a sigh of relief. But that situation has not gone away. The BHP are still trying to manoeuvre their position, and they will have to make a formal bid, I understand, according to London Stock Exchange rules, where Anglo-American is based. They will have to make a formal bid by the 22nd of this month. In the meantime, Anglo-American themselves are clearly trying to put forward an attractive option for their shareholders to resist the bid. And this morning at 7 o'clock they released a statement which they call Anglo-American Accelerates Delivery of Strategy. And it's a global strategy, and in it it seems that they're actually starting to reduce their involvement in a number of mined materials across the world, including steel making, coal, platinum, and this is how big it is. They're going to sell off De Beers, the largest diamond mining company in the world, in South Africa, and instead concentrate on copper, which is largely in South America, premium iron ore, and they've also made a commitment to stay with Woodsmith. But that isn't quite as good news as it sounds, because in the statement further on it says, in the near term, Anglo-American will slow the development of the Woodsmith project to support Anglo-American's balance sheet deleveraging, with capex for critical studies and other activities expected to total 200 million in 2025. That's compared with $1 billion a year that they're currently spending, and no capex at all in 2026. Anglo-American continues to recognise the asset's unique resource and long-term value potential, and will complete critical technical studies in 2025 to then enable syndication for value with one or more strategic partnerships, which sounds to me like joint ventures, or maybe they're looking for a government bailout, I don't know. But it's very significant sums of money. They're talking about spending £1 billion a year, and they're not actually going to get any of that back until 2027, when the material starts to be sold. So anybody who wants to enter into this market has got to be a major player. And I think this information only come out today is going to send shudders through our community, especially those people who are working directly for Anglo-American, who pay good salaries. I know people who have bought houses and taken out mortgages on the back of having good jobs at Anglo-American. I do hope, and I will work as hard as I can to make sure that those jobs are secure and those people retain their jobs. But we're entering into tricky times with Anglo-American, and I think we've kind of got used to Anglo-American being there. Initially, people were very sceptical, weren't they, that mining on national park was not a good idea. But I think we've gradually got used to the fact that it's being done well, and there are benefits, and certainly benefits for jobs and the economy. So I think that is unfortunately rather bad news that they have to bring you. I've been talking to Anglo-American today, and I think Councillor Trumper has. The press, it's all over the press. I was a little bit late because Bloomberg News wanted an interview with me. So there's a huge amount of interest globally in what's going to happen with Anglo-American. So those are my topics, and I'm happy to take comments, but you maybe want to hear from Councillor Trumper first.
Yes. Councillor Trumper, would you like to speak now about questions?
Thank you, Matt, and congratulations on the election on the 17th, Councillor Hart. I'll just start where Councillor Bonnet finished off, really. It is concerning about Anglo-American, and obviously the positive side is it is an area of business that they are going to maintain and concentrate on with Woodsmith. Obviously, the looks at the strategy, and I think the diamond and the coal, etc., is where they're looking at the been selling off, but concentrating on corporate hire a lot and obviously phosphate side of it, which is a positive that they are going to maintain, but the negative side is that the slowdown in the amount of funding put into that side. So I hopefully we'll get more information in the next few days of what's going to happen next, but hopefully we can again, it's such a shame that we're in this situation, but hopefully we can work with them and still have a future, a good future for the town and the people of the town to work there in the future. On another issue, the housing strategy, again, Councillor Swanwick touched on it. So I think Councillor Swanwick said 8,000 council houses the North Yorkshire Council have at present, and they're looking at building another 500. And these areas where they're going to build is where they require the most, such as Whitby. And again, Councillor Swanwick, we will be pressing to get those properties built in Whitby, and obviously we'll look at other areas, but our main aim is to get those properties, some of those properties built in Whitby to try and alleviate the issues that we have. And again, with the council tax premium, which will generate a large income, hopefully that money will be put into building affordable homes for local people, which is something again that we really require. It's something I've been talking about for years, that we really, that council tax premium should help and address that issue. On another issue, I saw on your agenda about the 3G pitch. I've been working with the football team, with the football team and North Yorkshire Council over the last few months regarding making sure everybody's being able to play on that pitch. The pitch isn't going, it's going to stay. Obviously the difference will be how it's how people go through and book the pitch rather than going through the school, than they're going through the cultural leisure side of the council. But I'll have more information in July how that's going to work. But the pitch is not going, it's staying open. But it's just making sure that everybody is able to book and play on the pitch. So it's utilised for why it's there in the first place. I'm expecting a few questions on a number of different issues. So I'll just wait for those questions and I can answer obviously what come my way. So yeah. Property rationalisation has been a big issue with us recently. Obviously with LGR, the council adopted a massive property portfolio. I mean, you're talking, it's probably one of the biggest in any council in the country. So that rationalisation is taking place and saving money from that. But they're looking at areas. The old town hall in Scarborough is one that we'll be looking at. There's not much rationalisation in Whitby because most of it was already done under the Borough Council. They have offloaded quite a lot of property. For example, the old on the town hall and the old council offices, which is why the town council sits in the Panhard area, because there's no longer a proper council chamber. But that rationalisation, most of it is Scarborough, there's quite a lot of properties that we're looking at offloading and selling on to reduce obviously the amount of, to bring that income, but also to reduce the amount of carbon that is generated by the council, which is also quite important to get down to reduce the amount of carbon, get down to try and hit that net zero target that we want to do by 2030. So any questions?
Mark. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, on the matter of housing, I'm given to understand that by the sewage farm they've now stopped building houses because they can't sell the ones that are already built, and they're offering £18,000 towards your mortgage, towards a deposit, towards your mortgage repayments, or a cash payment if you are a cash buyer for any of those properties. that is not going to solve the problem, but it will bring quite a few of those houses nearer to the affordable level, which I think is something that perhaps you ought to be considering within the housing strategy. Up on Green Lane, they've also slowed down because they can't sell the houses, and I have it on reasonably good authority that they've made about 18 of those houses available to a housing provider for rather than selling them. So would it be possible for you to try and ensure that those houses go to Whitby people rather than people outside of the town? I'm sure we've got people in Whitby who need that sort of housing accommodation. So I just mentioned that to you, something that you might like to pursue. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, on another point, this is specifically for you, Bill. I have it from a North Yorkshire Council officer that the cliff lift is going to be filled in, lift taken out and the shaft is going to be filled in, and I have it from a lift engineer that the existing lift has been condemned. We know that £100,000 was put by from the last administration at Scarborough from the Sunshine Fund 2 towards the cliff lift, and there's also a considerable amount of money, S106, made available by Anglo-American. So could you let us know whether the lift is condemned, if it's going to be filled in, and what is going to happen to those funds, what they're going to be used for? And on another point, I've heard that the mini-bus replacement is only going to continue for this year. Again, that comes from a North Yorkshire officer. So if you could use your bureaucracies to ask the questions and let us know.
Like I said, I'm forgetting, hopefully I'll have an update in July regarding the fifth bit. I'm not being privy to any conversation where it's going to get filled in, or obviously it's in a post state of repair where it's going to cost. I think the last estimate was over £1 million to repair it. But like I said, there's been no communication to myself regarding if it's going to get filled in or it's going to be not going to be used in the future. That's still open, so like I said, I hope to get a proper update in July, and then hopefully, I think the next July meeting will be July meeting. Yeah. Hopefully I'll press for them to update before then and then I can report it to you, but no communication whatsoever about it being filled in. No. Okay.
Another point on that point. Yeah, one last one. We were promised that there would be a solution to the problem of camper vans parking on Westcliff. We were promised that we'd have that by Easter of this year.
Right, the other solution.
And it hasn't happened. The situation we had last year is developing again this year, and it's going to continue with camper vans emptying their cassettes and their grey water into the rock armour, unless we do something to stop them coming down. So what is the current plan?
So I forget my last thing. I said probably won't be ready for Easter. I think I did say that at one of the last council meetings. However, it is coming. It is progressing. Because I can't at the moment. I'm embargoed basically to say anything else on it. So I can't say anything else until that embargo is lifted, then I can report back to you. But it is ongoing, it is progressing, quite quickly. Hopefully by July, hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be able to send an email to your class, and then can send it on to yourselves with that information, because it is progressing. But at the moment I'm embargoed to say anything more than that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions?
Well, in regards to housing, I do agree. I think there should be a prime residency scheme on new developments. That's a bit I've pressed for I think 2 years now. And it's something that, again, that could be included in the housing strategy. I'll be asking the executive member for housing if that could be added to it.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your time and attention. Can I have those proceed the verbal report? Councillor Knox, second, Councillor Cochran. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? No, well, thank you very much. Agenda item 7, minutes. 7A, to approve accurate record minutes of the following meetings. Page 7, council meeting of 5th of March 2024, and 2, the extraordinary council meeting of the 7th of May on page 13. Proposed to take them both together. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Yes. Okay, and 7B. Receive the draft minutes of the following meetings. 1. Human Resources, the 12th of March. 2. Paddock Park Gallery, the 19th of March. 3. Planning and Licensing, the 26th of March. 4. Finance Policy and General Purposes, the 9th of April. 5. Planning and Licensing, the 16th of April. 6. Town Development and Improvement, the 23rd of April. 7. Extraordinary Human Resources, the 30th of April. 8. Planning and Licensing, the 30th of April. And 9. Extraordinary Human Resources meeting on 7th of May 2024. We have a proposal to take one block, Councillor Cochran proposing. Who seconded it to take one block? Councillor Knox. All those in favour of taking the minutes on block? Against? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Number 8, committee recommendations. A. Finance Policy and General Purposes Committee. 433/23 approved expenditure. Recommended the schedule of expenditure up to the 29th of February 2024 in the sum of £43,689.47p as attached on page 26 is approved.
There is enlarged on there for confidential payments.
Salaries.
Are they itemised anywhere else?
No. Not generally, but they are for the top of the items.
Any other questions?
Move them, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry?
Move it.
Councillor proposed, seconded. Councillor White, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? B. Any other matters arising from the minutes noted above? Councillor Williams.
A couple of points. On page 9, which is 38823, then 360. This is being processed and reported on in 2 months. Has the report, has this now 2 months since that point was made. Has it been reported on yet?
Number 360. You're aware, Councillor Wiggles, what the original point was?
I personally, I know I put it in, it's about the, I can't remember what it was about, but it hasn't been reported to back to me, so I'm just asking what's happened.
Councillor Riddles, really.
That's right, it's down here. It should-
Gotta bring gin this next time.
Would you like to apply?
I'd be quite happy if it was brought up at the next meeting, whichever thing that is to say. It obviously hasn't been reported.
I think Councillor Wiggles, it actually refers to, but we'll just check, the 3G pitch, which we will be discussing today. we got set aside for 2 months for further information.
The other one's 318/8. What has happened with the report from the acoustic specialist about this gallery?
Chair, we've yet to receive a report from the acoustic specialist. I have the details, but we haven't had them in to talk to us yet.
Right, one final time. Review of governance documents. It says. Sorry, 17, page 17. Page 17. 408/23. It was just saying that there was going to be a report, DBS checks and policies to be recommended to the annual meeting. What are these policies? Because they're not, these sound like they're extra policies to what we were discussing in March, was it? Or are they?
Chair, again, there's an outstanding action which is to identify the costs and processes to undertake DBS checks. I've not had a response yet to the inquiries of North Yorkshire.
I think the documents you're referring to are the
other documents, so the Constitution.
next item on the agenda, I believe. Any other matters?
No, that's the main.
Thank you. So, item agenda 9. Items for review at the annual meeting of the Town Council. Review and adoption of the Council's constitution, including appropriate standing orders, financial regulations, policies and procedures, delegation and terms of reference which are circulated separately. We have a recommendation. A, the revised standing orders, financial regulations, policies, procedures, scheme of delegation and terms of committees forming the Town Council's constitution and approved by Council on the 5th of March 2024, 394/23 be adopted. And B, the further revision to financial regulations arising from the 2024 model document circulated by YLCA on behalf of NELP are referred to Finance, Policy and General Purposes Committee for consideration and recommendation to Council for approval and adoption in July 2024. Right, yes, so shall we do seconder, Councillor Harston. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions?
Mr Mayor, on that point, I'm aware that there's some fairly acrimonious correspondence changing between one machine and another over the last few days, particularly with regard to standing order one.
Councillor not need to revise standing orders.
I know. I know. Can I just have a comment that in the next review of standing orders, which I know we can't do now because it's 6 months old, but in the next review, could we seek to remove any ambiguity from what was put in the last time we changed them? It's one last thing.
Council needs to know that and take that forward.
So we've noted, and it will be taken forward, and the council is in agreement with that. But the standing orders we now just agreed for come in, certainly for the coming 6 months and maybe a year if there's no adaptations.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
B. Appointment of members to existing committees. A list of council's preferences is attached on page 45. We have Finance, Policy and General Purposes Committee oversubscribed by 3. Human Resources oversubscribed.
Well, technically, Chair, the town there is ex officio under the terms of reference on that committee. It is a matter for you as to whether or not you wish to be subject to election for that in your own right, as well as being ex officio. If you were content with being ex officio, then it is not oversubscribed.
Right. I am more than happy to be ex officio for that, and therefore Human Resources is not oversubscribed.
So if it's helpful, Chair, if we can take a confirmatory vote on HR as with those 7 members plus the town there, then that will clear that one from consideration.
Do we have a proposal by Councillor Coffin? Do we have a seconder? Councillor Smith. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? So, we've got a number of committees which are undersubscribed.
Chair, Finance, Policy and General Purposes.
Yes, that's good. I'm just going to come back to
Oh,
No, sorry, you're right now. We'll go with committees that are oversubscribed. Finance, Policy and General Purposes. So, as has been said in the notes, the poll will be held in which each member may vote for as many candidates as there are committee places. And the standing order 8B, when there are still more vacancies to be filled, the name of the person having the lowest number of votes shall be struck off the list, and a fresh vote taken until the number of candidates equal the number of vacancies. So I'm assuming then we'll be voting 3 times, potentially 3 times.
So, are we just crossing it, or are we putting in order of preference?
No, it is you can vote for who you think out of those up to 7 times
Right.
who you see
Yeah.
you're going to go on the committee. And the one with the fewest vote this time round will be taken off, and then there'll be 2 more votes till we get down to 7.
Obviously, if you're council, you must always bring your glasses and you can advise them to have a pen.
That's simple because Here's my here to go. Unfortunately. Thank you.
Could you be ex officio on this?
Just once more.
That is possible, yes.
No, that's
But I reserve the right not to be executed.
well, that helps a lot, doesn't it?
Well, please go on.
No, I think it's pretty close, isn't it?
That's a very valid point, Councillor Brown, I guess.
Just do it. These are the
Strong.
bit weak.
You what?
I'll
jump on the out.
Which is important.
Chair, on the second round of voting, the council will refuse votes as councillor reports. Actually, Councillor Barner has to make a valid point. I have been on finance for a number of years. I will get
think that's a very good issue.
It seems a very bad point it has got. So I am formally withdrawing from finance policy and will stand on it in an ex officio capacity to allow the maximum number of councillors present to be able to be on this committee.
So on that, Chair, the recommendation for a confirmatory vote is that Finance Policy and General Purposes composes Councillors Abbott, Barnett, Coghlan, Dalrymple ex officio, Harston, Knock, Turner and Wild.
Right?
Just leave that.
Can we have those accept that? Councillor Coghlan, seconder. Councillor Turner, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? We need to take a vote on the first one. No, that was. So the next one. So we now have got committees which are undersubscribed. Joint Management Committee, 6 nominees, 9 places, therefore we have 3 vacancies. As it says that, Brown, Coghlan, Dalrymple, Heron, Riddles and Wild. Panic Art Gallery, 7 places of 9, 2 substitutes. Brown, Coghlan, Dalrymple, Riddles, Turner, Wild.
Chair, we can take those two together to begin with. In terms of reference, it is normal that members of the Panic Art Gallery form the 7 of the 9 members. And Councillor Turner has indicated that she would wish to also be considered for Joint Management Committee, which would increase the numbers there to 7 nominees, which would be 2 vacancies. So the question would be whether Councillor Heron similarly wanted to be added to Panic Art Gallery to maintain that link. That would mean that there was no vacancy on the Panic Art Gallery and that there were 2 vacancies on the JMC.
Right. Do we have any other councillors who wish? Councillor Knox, JMC?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 1 more vacancy, I believe, on JMC. Any councillors willing? Let's put the names forward.
Mr. Mayor, this is quite disappointing really. We've had a lot of hoo-ha about this time last year about seats on committees being held by what was considered to be the old guard. Given that we've had 2 very good councillors resign, I only put myself down for 1 committee this year. That released 12 seats on committees, and we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 undersubscribed.
So we just stick there with the Joint Management Committee and our Parliament. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Joint Management, 1 vacancy. Correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Panic Art Gallery, so that is now no vacancies.
That's correct.
So there's still a vacancy on Joint Management Committee. Moving on. Town Development and Improvement, 7 places. We've got 5 nominees. Brown, Coghlan, Harston, Heron and Smith. Town Development and Improvement, anyone?
Councillor Robert was on. When you want to
Yeah, I attended the meeting. I feel that we'll see what these 2 committees I'm on now.
Planning and licensing, Dalrymple, Whitby, Harston, Heron. I have to say, I do find it surprising because it's one of the few committee meetings where we regularly report our decisions back to North Yorkshire on planning issues. We're moving forward with the neighbourhood plan. At the moment, we've got the opportunity to influence the North Town Steering Group, 5 places, 1 vacancy, Brown, Marston, Leyland, Riddles and Harbour. Woodbury, Leyland, Turner, Wild, 5 places, 3 vacancies. Jeff?
Nominate for Harbour.
Any other nominations from councillors who are not on these committees? Oh, sorry.
Can I join the neighbourhood man steering group? Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
I read that in the minutes of one of the neighbourhood plan steering group meetings, that Councillor Goodbury had now been disallowed. I thought it was only England, Tribes and the Six Nations that were disallowed. Are they in a position to do that? Because it is a committee of the town council.
Chair, it's an advisory steering group as a subcommittee of planning in the proper sense. It did properly decide, in terms of reference, that it felt the commitment necessary required that if any member had not attended for 3 consecutive meetings, they should be disallowed. Coincidentally, Councillor Goodbury withdrew from any further involvement when this round of nominations was invited. Thank you.
Right. Do we have any more councillors who wish to put their names forward? No?
I'll put myself on town development, as it says in the thing that we should have 1 councillor per ward.
And development.
Chair, it should be noted clearly there are 2 vacant seats at the moment, so there will potentially be new members available with that.
So, do I need to go through? We just need to confirm.
Just to confirm, Mr. Chair, I would ask council to consider very carefully whether allowing planning licensing to be simply at its quorum is sustainable, or whether any member would feel that they could usefully be added to planning licensing. I think it's at risk of not being able to meet if any one of those 4 members is available for a meeting.
Excuse me. Can I ask I should know this, but I don't. Planning and licensing, that will involve reviewing planning applications. No. And the civic society planning group, so that would be a conflict of interest.
Shall we go through, Chair, and Joint Management Committee, the original 6 nominees, plus Councillor Turner, plus Councillor Locke, leaving 1 vacancy. Howard Park Gallery, the 6 nominees, plus Councillor Mulheron, leaving no vacancies. Town Development and Improvement, the original 5 nominees, plus Councillor Riddles, leaving 1 vacancy. Planning and Licensing, as printed, leaving 3 vacancies. Neighbourhood Plan Steering Group, plus Councillor Mulheron, leaving no vacancies. And the Harbour Committee, as printed, plus Councillor Redfern, leaving 2 vacancies.
Would I propose to accept those?
If it will help, I'll go as a sub on planning. But also on the wrong committee.
Well, if we have a substitute, then I think we'll accept a substitute.
It may be making forward.
When do you fill in subs then?
We can fill in subs now, but normally you only fill in subs if you fill all the vacancies.
So we could have time for some general purposes, Chair,
Yes.
where obviously there's still room for 3 substitutes there.
Yeah, so we'll have to say substitutes. like to?
Finance.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
That's Councillor Rules and Councillor Lane. Substitute.
Okay.
Chair, can I just raise one point? Because a bit like Councillor Knott's point, can we consider when they come due again that we change it so that the allotment committee is no longer a subcommittee? Because I'm aware that it confuses people, especially the fact that it's the only committee now that we don't vote on now, and it just slows down the whole process by having to wait till we've got town development improvement and then do the allotment, when they're actually totally separate subjects, really. It's for consideration, that's all, just the same as...
Chair, we take that for noting and look at it in terms of reference.
Certainly. We'll take that. Right, so,
Chair, if council is content that it understands the proposals for the committees which were subscribed, plus the substitute nominations for finance, policy and general purposes, and is willing to take those on block, then that would be no.
right. Those to take one block, Gaffer. Seconder. Nothing, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Thank you. You can go on as many or as few as you choose once you get elected. So we are now on 9BII. On those from III, filling remaining vacancies. And paragraph C. Review arrangements including any charters and agency agreements with other local authorities and real contributions made to expenditure incurred by other local authorities. Note that there are no agreements in place. The annual contribution of £6,000 from the toilets income surplus to the cost of the pier remains the contractual commitment to North Yorkshire Council. The recommendation that this current arrangement be noted.
Could you explain that to me about the £6,000 from Danforth? Because I understood there was a £6,000 from Danforth that was available for charities to apply for. Or was that under the original agreement?
Chair, my understanding of how the account is constructed and how the information is received from Danforth, 6,000 is ring-fenced and that the council provided that 6,000 as an annual payment to Scarborough Council initially for the operation.
And that was, what was that? Which agreement was that? The original one or the second one? The original renegotiation, wasn't it?
It was not a renegotiation of the Danforth contract. It was the council deciding how to spend this £6,000 that they were receiving from Danforth, which at the time was additional money from people putting 50p in before it made charges.
Right.
So effectively, it's got nothing to do with Danforth itself. It's the income that we receive. We have earmarked ring-fence that for the cost of the pier bridge.
Right. So there was £6,000. There was the original agreement. There was £6,000 from Danforth for available charities to apply for. Could you look into it for me, please?
I was not aware.
No, Chair, I can review
We will review the
contract.
Yeah, I think I know it was originally, but I don't really go to it.
Councillor
I want to agree with Councillor Smith here. When we first did the negotiation, we had got a lot more than £6,000 in excess money. And it was that people could apply for charities. I know that we wrote.
We did, yeah. Sorry.
And we did do that. I mean, it can't just be £6,000, can it? You know, it's just a coincidence if the public overspend by £6,000. It was some, I can remember at one point we got £14,000. Do you remember that?
It's the 6,000 we committed from income from that.
Just for my information, please, Mr. Mayor, could you just remind me how long we're committed to this £6,000 paying to the, now the usual.
Chair, I would need to confirm that I believe it's a 20-year agreement.
It is.
It is.
20 years ago.
What will be?
We're just noting that this kind of arrangement continues.
Yes, Chair, but if members want to formally request more information on the contractual basis of that relationship, then I will provide that.
I would like to request that, please.
I'll second it.
All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? D. Review representation on or work with external bodies, arrangements for reporting back. A list of those currently appointed is attached to page 47. Nominations, including self-nominations, will be made at the meeting, and the confirmatory vote to be moved on completed nominations to external bodies. So, 47 we have the external bodies. Emergency plan working party.
That's still there.
It is not met in my opinion, Chair.
That's an emergency.
I'm sure it's not.
We have Town Hall and Market Working Group, Whitby and Bloom, Friends of Panic Park Management Group, Yorkshire Local Councils Association, North York Moors National Park Coastal Area Parish Forum, Valley Railway, Harbour Users Consultative Group, Woodsmith Project Liaison Group, S106 York Potash Steering Group, and 106 Funding Group. And they are the council names who are currently representing Whitby Town Council on these working parties. Do any of these councils wish to step down? Do they not continue on these working parties? Do any of the councils wish to step in?
Can I just ask again for a point? I'm presuming that the town council are offered an invitation for one person to attend. Is it just we're only allowed the one representative on the body?
Chair, it's the number of appearances. Yes.
Sorry, I haven't got all the paper. I couldn't print it all out, so I haven't got it all in front of me.
So we can put 4 representatives to Whitby and Bloom, 2 to Friends of Panic Park, 2 to Yorkshire Local Council Association, 2 to North York Moors National Park Parish Forum, 1 to the Valley Railway, 1 on the Harbour Users Consultative Group, and 1 on the Woodsmith Project Liaison Group. And at the moment, all of these vacancies are filled. Oh, sorry, I apologise. Whitby and Bloom, there's only 3 people on there. We have a vacancy for Whitby and Bloom. So, councillors whose names are coming on this list.
Can I just ask, I'm aware Councillor Sumner, we haven't seen her much recently. Has she been in touch to say she's still happy to take on the roles that she's not on any committees, but she is named on some of these groups as attending? Does she attend, and is she still willing to do so?
Chair, I'm not sure whether she's attended any of those meetings recently. I've not heard of her.
Would it be worth getting in touch with her specifically to ask, because otherwise somebody might be interested in some of those? I'm not saying I am, because I'm not.
I think it would be useful to say that we, at this meeting, we've gone through the councils representing on this group, and as Councillor Sutton was not at the meeting, and if there's any other councils not in attendance at that thing, we asked Councillor Sutton if she still wishes to be on, to give her the opportunity.
Mr. Mayor, can you just explain what that group's about?
Which group?
The Yorkshire Local Council Association.
Chair, the Town Council is a member of the Yorkshire Local Council Association. It has a branch network of all of the town and parish councils in the former Scarborough Borough, and meetings, 2 members of the town council are entitled to attend and vote. All members may attend, but only 2 may vote, and those 2 must be nominated in advance. So that's the provision there. It's who takes the town council's votes to those branch meetings.
What I'm trying to get at is the role that they play on this forum. What is their role? If they go to the meetings, what active part do they have when they come back to the council? Are they just passing on the information, what they pick up there, or have they got an active part on the council?
Chair, Councillor Wilde has been an active participant. Perhaps best to explain.
What happens is the minutes of the meeting, it's just people, other parish councils in and around Scarborough. Sometimes they don't happen because people can't turn up. But we just go and talk about procedure, and the minutes come back to the council. What we do with the minutes.
Chair, I circulate those minutes when they come under the YLCA banner. It's perhaps worth noting that from this year, North Yorkshire Council have committed that their engagement with town and parish councils from their corporate perspective will be via these meetings. So the meetings will have a pause. The first half will be the engagement with North Yorkshire, and the second half will be the branch meeting. The first half will be open to parish and town councils who are not in active membership of the county association, but then after the break it will be a county association meeting. Consultations with the National Association of Local Councils on such things as changes to financial regulation models and standing order models, and on positions in relation to lobbying government are often ratified through the county association, which is obviously one of many which is affiliated to the National Association. So again, it's this council's link into the decision making of the National Association of Local Councils too. And the Yorkshire Association elects representatives of smaller and larger local authorities. We are a larger town and parish council in their definition, and elects members to be part of those national forums as well.
Mr. Councillor hasn't attended. I thought she'd come off. I thought she'd come last meeting, she'd taken her name off. I would like to know that it would be good if somebody else was on as well.
The Cameron was on, as we said, we ask Councillor Sutton if she wishes, and then if she does wish to come off, then we could ask for a representative to replace her. I think we need to first of all
It's a bit more information on this. It's just that it's there, and I just want to know a little bit more. Does it represent these councillors from Whitby? Do they represent this council on grievance states? If we have an issue that North Yorkshire is not building enough houses, do our two reps go through to the forum and say this is what's happening?
No, that doesn't come up. But it might come up now. Now that it's changing, that possibly will come up right now. What it's little parish councils, they come together and talk about what's happening in their parish. There's no major issues, but I think there's going to be. I think it's going to start being a different carry on altogether with the North Yorkshire Council. Like the park said, we're going to start, there's going to be North Yorkshire Council business and then there's going to be parish business. That hasn't happened yet, but I think it's going to be really a very useful way of meeting and understanding what's happening across the Scarborough parish, across the book.
Why I am quizzing now, because we have with two issues being through this town. One of them is the DB. That's coming back again now, but then the DB companies to demand more money off our shopkeepers or our business people to keep things going, but we don't get. And the other thing is, we've just had a court case regarding the harbour, Now, we as a council, I don't know whether we've fought this, I know Councillor Summer has, and Councillor Turner, they've all been involved with the DB, and the Harbour obviously. But do we still keep pushing it and say we need results out of it? We are the representatives of Whitby, we're not going to satisfactory answers of what they're telling us. Like Tugger and Swanee, they come out with a story, but we never fired other bullets at them regarding the DB, the Harbour court case and all this sort of thing. We're still sat here wondering what's happening. I just wondered if this representation would go forward to fight our causes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As I understood what the clerk's just said, we're all entitled to attend that meeting. So although there will only be 2 members from this councillor voting members, we can all attend that meeting, and I would presume I'm correct in saying we could enter into the debate in those meetings, but we wouldn't be entitled to a vote at the end of that debate. But we could certainly attend and put our thoughts, concerns or compliments for a job well done put forward to any situation.
What is fantastic is that not many people do attend, and it is quite interesting to understand what other people are saying or what's happening in the small parish councils. I mean, everybody knows what's happening in Whitby. You know, as soon as you get there, everybody's asking what's happening in Whitby, and it's well known about the town halls and town assemblies and these sort of things come up. But it's worth going to. I think it's going to be a lot more influential, I think, when it's not just coming. I think that Councillor Abbott's talking about could be brought up. Definitely. It's not brought up now because there's no forum for it. It's not what they do now. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. And particularly if North Yorkshire going to be the first half of it, there's going to be different officers there. And I think it's a good forum to do that.
It's always to be with the mayor that says it's their meeting. But it's come to us, that I wrote it, that each of their meetings, they went to a different place. They went. Can you remember on this? They used to come here.
They have it in Newton's Colby town council office.
Look, we need to have a meeting here.
Chair, they meet quarterly, and I think now they meet two of those meetings are face-to-face and 2 are virtual.
Yeah. Well, 2 are virtual.
If I'm allowed to put forward and say that if Councillor Sumner wishes to take herself off that committee, I would like to put myself forward as one of the names.
I'll second that.
So we will note that, Councillor. Any other Councillor?
Mr. Mayor, I noticed we haven't got maps on here, multi-agency problem solving, and I know that is a meeting that is open to all councillors to attend. Traditionally it's been Councillor Wilde and I who have done it. Recently, I found it increasingly difficult to get onto Teams, and I do find that a lot of the bodies that should be attending that meeting aren't. I find the whole thing quite dispiriting, and I wish to withdraw from it. I know there's nothing for it to do, I'm just letting you know.
Perhaps it would be worth Matt has been discussed before, but maybe we can resend out the details and maps for councillors to attend online on Thursday. Who's got any Thursdays on that? I just need to try to attend them. So, going back, do we have any councillors currently representing town council on the working project who wish to withdraw?
What is the town hall and market working group?
I don't know, I've never attended.
Chair, my understanding is it dates back to the initial discussions with Scarborough Borough Council in relation to the transfer of the market, which I think was resolved by Scarborough Borough Council in 2019. However, that has become somewhat absorbed into the regeneration of the market hall as a project under the Town Deal Board, and therefore there has never been, to date, any direct engagement with the Town Council about service transfer, although that is mentioned in dispatches, and if it were to be proposed formally, it would need to be considered, as I understand it, this working group would work on that proposal.
Right.
So should we have a present then?
Well, it's not happening, is it? We want
So,
pass it back to finance. Should we, well, it's a finance policy and general purposes group, isn't it? Should we get it on the agenda for the finance and make that decision?
can we also talk about the emergency
Can we just cancel on that?
Yeah.
I'd like to put myself forward for this.
Which one?
The town hall market.
We've just wound up.
Councillor Barnett, you don't know if actually it's operating. We're going to find out whether or not it's still a valid route. And I think if it is, then we'll look at which members need to go on it. But I'm not attending the meeting since I think it's been wound up, so we're going to find that out first and then see about who should attend if it is ongoing. I would agree with the emergency plan working party. Is that still, it's a town development and improvement. Can we ask town development and improvement to review whether or not this meeting is required, this working party is required? And they were
I think we can meet if there was an emergency.
But has the group ever met?
Used to.
Yes, but it hasn't met recently. I think the town development and improvement need to review whether or not its terms and conditions, does it need to carry on, and make a recommendation back to full council. Yes, it should carry on, but it doesn't need to until there's something else.
We used to meet with the police.
Yeah. I think we've got those two. Is there anything else on these?
I was wondering, I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Chair, that's the group that when Councillor Cross stood down, Councillor Coldwell was appointed to. It is to do with the funding allocations from the community development pot that was managed by Scarborough Down and North Yorkshire. But that group hasn't met now since September.
As well it does meet, you are represented.
Right, so that is what.
Right. Do we just need to note recommendation, right? One, that those standing nominated be appointed as representative of the respective bodies, and two, the substantive report following meetings of the external bodies be made to the next scheduled meeting of the full council.
So I might suggest you might, based on the discussion, you might want to amend that point one so it's subject to confirmation from Councillor Sutton.
Lovely. Okay. For those standing nominated to be appointed subject to confirmation from Councillor Sutton and substantive reports following meetings are made back to the next scheduled meeting of the full council. Are we happy with that recommendation?
And Chair, does the Council wish to add, given that Councillor Mr. Turner, seconded by Councillor Abbott, that if Councillor Sumner doesn't wish to continue, that Council has nominated Councillor Mr. Turner in her stead?
Yes. Can we have a proposer? Councillor Wilde, seconder. Councillor Lehman, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? E. Review of inventory of land and assets, including buildings and office equipment. Recommendation that the asset register, as approved by Council on the 5th of March 393/23B, be adopted. Proposed Councillor Turner, seconder. Councillor Abbott, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? F. Confirmation of arrangements for insurance cover in respect of all insured risks. Recommendation to note that all insurance cover in respect of the art for the year 24-25. A separate policy covering public toilets is renewal in July, and the 2023-24 premium was £10,846.2019. That's enough.
I move to note.
Second is to note, Councillor Turner. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? G. Review of the councils and or staff subscription to other bodies. Recommendation A. To note that the Town Council is a member of the Yorkshire Local Council Associations and National Association of Local Councils at an annual subscription 24-25 of £1,589. And to note that the clerk and deputy clerk are contractually members of the Society of Local Council Clerk at an annual subscription 2024 of £546.67p. Okay, Abbott?
What, is this the union for small council?
Chair, the Society of Local Council Clerks has since 2017 not carried out any union activities. It's a professional body and obviously it provides advice. I must declare an interest. I'm the director of the Society of Local Council Clerks.
Right, so I can't ask questions because you're declaring you can't. Do we pick somebody else up then?
That's it. We've been a member of, I've been in this council for 31 years, and for the 31 years I've been in this council for 40 years.
So does that represent the clerks?
If you give information to help us do our job, we get all the policies, any new policies that come out, we are advised them straight away and we can implement, put them to council to put forward. If we need assistance in anything, they're there, they have lots of worksheets to help us, and it's there to literally help us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would move that move the recommendation because obviously this is bringing up-to-date information to this council to ensure that we are acting in the most efficient way that we should be. And I stand.
And I'll second that.
Oh, second. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? H. Review of the council's expenditure incurred under section 137 of the Local Government Act 1972. Recommendation that to note the subject to audit the net expenditure incurred under section 137 of the Local Government Act 1972 2023-24 was nil.
That's right, Chair. Section 137 is a power of last resort, which is used for any funding which is not covered by a primary power. It's not been invoked during the past financial year simply because all of the expenditure has been covered by a primary power. It would normally cover such things as charitable donations or potentially some community benefit project that wasn't otherwise within a primary power, but that happens to have been none in the last 12 months.
Any notes, recommendation? Councillor Turner, second. Councillor Wells. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? I. Determine the time and place of ordinary meetings of the full council up to and including the next annual meeting of the full council attached at page 49. Is to approve?
Okay. A couple of points can I make on this?
Certainly.
If the town assembly date cast down because it's got brackets around it, why is that?
Chair, the town assembly appears because it's not a meeting of the council, but it is a date which the council may set.
So has that been set? That is the date. Because a lot of people in the town say they want to know well in advance. So.
If council resolves to set that as the date, then that would be the date set.
Second point.
Yes.
Last year, July, this council voted 10 votes to 4 not to use the gallery for any further use until it had been updated for people who are deaf, etc., etc. The town clerk said that as the dates had already been set and the room had already been booked for the rest of the year, then the gallery had to be used for those meetings. Now, we can say that the gallery can't be used, as was said back in July, by 10 votes to 4, that until this room is upgraded, we will not use the gallery because it is not suitable for people who are deaf, among other things. Right? And that was the council's decision. So I say that when you put that, you don't put that the meetings are in the gallery and we find somewhere else to have the meetings, as the council agreed.
Over 6 months ago. Over 6 months ago?
Chair, yes. And Finance Policy and General Purposes subsequently resolved to purchase the portable hearing room as an experimental exercise to see whether having a hearing room in the gallery would forward. There is the outstanding suggestion that we have the acoustic consultant provide us with a report, and that still is to come forward.
So that is the full thing we bought a portable loo. Well, I think it's disgraceful. Moving out the meeting until something's done, because we said we weren't going to use this meeting room. It isn't useful. I've heard about the half of what's been said, and it is against all proper things. You've got to sort this room out.
Can we please note at this point Councillor Mitchell has left the meeting? Thank you. So,
I'd like to sort of raise an issue for a future agenda, which I think that we should be having these full council meetings monthly. Simply because
Chair, that was raised at the March meeting and was dismissed.
we took a vote on it at the March meeting.
yeah, well, we've never voted on it.
No, not within 6 months.
Probably won't be around at that point, never mind.
The vote was taken in March and the decision was taken to stick with 5 monthly council meetings. So, do we have someone to recommend the attached calendar of the meetings? Councillor Mott, secondly Councillor Cotton. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Notices of motions. Moved by Councillor Redmond and seconded by Councillor Riddle. We do not have Councillor Riddle. Do we have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Abbott, do you second the motion?
I'll second it.
That the council seek funding for and identify suitable location for the installation of disabled toilet facilities on the east side of the town and provide for the services in a timely manner. Councillor Lennon, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Just to say that the reason for it, simple fact, we don't have one over there. It used to be, but it was knocked down many years ago apparently. We have an aging population. It's going to be a boom for the visitors, and I'm surprised that it hasn't been replaced a long time ago.
Councillor Wilde?
Councillor Lehman was contacting me in my ward. I would have explained to him about the last attempt that we had to get the toilets on the east side. And the site has been identified. It's a disabled toilet, with 2 toilets and a shower for harbour users. Danforth, they agreed to pay, I don't know if you remember, and it was £78,000 they were going to pay for the toilet. Unfortunately, they were taken over by another company, and the deal fell through. We've since tried, we've spoken to Scarborough Council in the last couple of years about toilets on the east side. It's you're quite right, it's an absolute shame that there isn't anything there, because the harbour users, there's nothing on that side by the pontoon for harbour users, so it would be a really good idea. But if you'd like to contact me, I'd be quite happy to work with you, Council Mayor, to look at the situation.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. I did actually go and visit the toilets, and obviously Market Square is only suitable for ambulatory accessible access, so it's not suitable for a wheelchair user. However, I have tried to push somebody up the cobbles in a wheelchair before, and it is nigh on impossible, and it is extremely uncomfortable for the said user, the said person in the wheelchair. What I was going to suggest, could we look at a community toilet scheme where we contact local organisations such as the Captain Hook Museum, who do have an accessible toilet, to see for a sum of money, normally it's about £200–300, especially if they're only open for parts of the year, to see if they will allow wheelchair users to use their toilets. Thank you.
Glenn, Councillor Wilde's recommendation that she and the councillors get together and go for, would it be better under a committee and then report back to that committee, the committee leads you forward, or is it already under the committee?
I would suggest that you probably get more action quicker if it's not under a committee, but with a smaller group of councils looking to pursue all of the options, including, I think you said, I think it's included a suitable location. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to build our own location if there's other locations available.
The existing one that Councillor Wilde is the one in the car park next to the police book where they've knocked it down. And it was what Councillor Trumper was a toilet upstairs with a television room and all this sort of stuff for the ambulance. But that's not what the lady's asking about. It's a practical toilet for disabled people.
That's right.
May I suggest that as we've obviously got 3 interested people in this, and it sounds like Councillor Mulholland's idea is a wonderful idea, and obviously the benefit of getting councillors from other areas who have got experience in all sorts of matters should be capitalised on. Can I suggest that we have our working party and we ask them to report at their convenience? Sorry about the one it came out.
When the new building is put on, it's on one side.
Yeah.
There's nowhere on the east side where you can.
But I think that's what we're saying, Council. We need some councils to come up with ideas that we can adopt as a council and push forward. So it's a slight amendment then to your motion, Councillor Lane. It's about, in a way, the council empowers the working party of councillors.
I was going to suggest that. My notes say assign this to either Town Development Improvement Committee or a working group.
So I think the council, via a working party of 3 councillors, 4 councillors, seek funding for and identify suitable locations for the installation of disabled toilet facilities on the east side, to provide the services in a timely manner and to report back to the full council with their.
Can we make note that it doesn't necessarily need to be an installation? That's the point.
No,
of Council Mulholland's facility.
Yeah.
The provision of a facility.
Yes.
Or facilities, because it could be more than one.
A suitable location for the provision of disabled toilet facilities. Do you have to do that? Yeah.
Can I just say, the boardroom has, because they have a dedicated place there now. I think the planning about it. You know, the dedicated toilet, the one that's recently been erected as of last year. For, what's it called? It's all the place, I can't remember.
Changing places.
Changing places.
But there was state funding, Department of Level Housing and Community had to change the places toilet fund. And they had two tranches of that. They both finished. They were missed. Nothing in North Yorkshire was put forward to it. But they have now finished. That fund is no longer available.
But I think
Other funding.
I think we'll be asking the councillors to see what additional funding we need from this. So we have that proposal.
And that is that the council established a working group of councillors, laymen, wild and non-parent, to identify funding and a suitable location for the installation of the provision of disabled services to the east side of town and to provide facilities in a timely manner.
Yeah. Do you wish that's the...
I'm very happy with that.
All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? B. Moved by Councillor Lehman and is Councillor Abbott going to second this? With the impending closure of Barking and Halifax banks, the number of free-to-use automated teller machines in the main area of the town will be reduced to 5, with just 2 available to the public outside of normal business hours. The council will actively engage with the banking industry to secure more out-of-town accessible ATMs, with particular attention to the east side of the town.
Yes, I would like to acknowledge the work being done by the council, in particular the town clerk, with regard to the discussions concerning the banking hub. The Link Network, in their March 2024 report, say that they are still welcoming requests for ATMs. I would therefore suggest this motion be brought to the attention of the banking hub discussion group to see if it would be advantageous to include it in that project or to proceed separately.
Councillor White?
Have this got a discussion with the clerk and we'll put forward the request to the banking hub and they gave a response. Can you recall the response?
Chair, I have already raised it in full because it's very early days with the representative of Cash Access UK. From their perspective, the fact that Whitby is being offered a banking hub, which is a type A with an ATM, is probably about as far as they're required to go. So I think that the notion that it's a wider conversation with the Link Network is the appetite one, and that it may be something that the council needs to explore outside that, because that will be a quite limited discussion about a specific facility, which is almost inevitably going to focus on the west side, because that's where the existing branches are closed.
But there is, apart from the post office, there's nowhere to get cash on the east side. There is no shop.
They told me, when I checked, it was like, the point at Sainsbury's.
Yeah, that's Sainsbury's.
Yeah?
You don't go away to Sainsbury's for it? No. As I said, it's the main area of town that we need it, especially on the east side. There's a lot of cash-only businesses out there, no cash.
I think then we've got the motion, and we said we were all in favour, so do you wish to add any more to your motion?
No.
Okay. So, the motion is, with the impending closure of Barking and Halifax banks, the number of free-to-use automated teller machines in the main area of the town will be reduced to 5, with just 2 available to the public outside of normal business hours. The council will actively engage with the banking industry to secure more out-of-hours accessible ATM, with particular attention to the east side of the town. Motion. All those in favour? Against? Abstentions? Thank you. 11. Approval of expenditure the 31st of March 2024. Tax note of expenditure falling in 23-24 after the items considered the FP and GP meeting on 4th April, item 8A above refers.
So
relation to the ideal boilers needing extension, and then extension of the maintenance contract with the council's existing heating contractor, page 53.
These are part of the essential work that were identified some months ago, are they not?
Yes.
Chair, it would be 20 years, which is equivalent to the boilers that are being replaced on this occasion.
That's about it.
How many quotes do we have?
Chair, we've got a single quote because it comes under the context of being an extension of an existing contractual relationship with Comcast.
I thought large sums of money were supposed to get 3 quotes.
Above 5,000.
Above 5,000.
Below 25,000 and above 3,000, as I read the...
But the extension here is that it's an extension of an existing contract.
Would it not have been better to get 3 quotes?
No, because then we would have to
Contractually, we can't.
Yeah, we can't, because it's an existing contract.
And we have a responsive and effective plumbing and gas contractor that the council has replaced in the last 18 months, and this morning they demonstrated their responsiveness and the benefit to the council of having a firm, whereas the other firm that we were using previously were not as good. And because the system as a whole takes careful management, particularly the 2 complementary systems with currently the newer boilers that serve the old part of the building and the old boilers that serve the newer part of the building. They don't work without causing issues to the rest of the heating system, and knowledge of the whole system is really helpful. And the advice we've had is that replacing any bit as if it was a component doesn't necessarily resolve the issue, and that's why we treat the system as a whole.
My concern is the visual side of it. It would cost you nothing to get 3 quotes. You're under no obligation to accept the lowest quote. So you could have got 2 other quotes and still accepted this one, but the public...
You can't obtain 3 quotes on the basis you're going to accept one.
Well, no, we don't know what the other 2 are. Right? The other 2 might be...
Contractually, we can't do it.
Yes. So, Councillor Barnett.
No, I mean, it's precisely these reasons that we should get 3 quotes, so that everything is transparent.
Yes.
I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Get your 3 quotes, evaluate them. The cheapest isn't always the best, we know that. We've all been that way. And so on. So,
regulations
you know,
scenario where there is an existing contract.
We note Councillors' alternative view that they don't want to, they will not accept the recommendation, but the recommendation for the quote is within financial services, is within our contract. It will allow a speedy installation of the boilers, and if there's any problems, we won't have the issue of one company saying, that's not our fault, that's their fault. But, you know, we have this recommendation, we should put it to the vote.
What is it? We're not VAT, which is on the 5,000. We're not saving it back. I do not understand how we're nitpicking, just so that somebody can score a point. It's ridiculous.
I'm not looking to score points, it's the transparency for the people out there. They're paying the bill.
Mr. Mayor, just to back up on what Councillor Wise was just saying, in any purchase order that you get, up to 5,000, you need 1 quote. Between 5,000 and 50,000, you need 3 quotes. Over 50,000, it must go to tender. And that's the way it's run across everything.
The way that I read this is...
Can I just say, by getting 3 quotes, you and knowing that you are going to go with one, you are wasting... No, when you've got 2 contracts, you are wasting the time of the other 2 contractors.
No, they're not there.
You
need to look at them.
Yes, but we've got a recommendation that the supply quotation is accepted at a net cost of £4,738.40. So, all those in favour of accepting the recommendation? Against? Abstentions? Thank you. 13, SPL School 3D pitch. To consider representation made by interested parties in relation to proposed registration of the SPL School 3D pitch as an asset of community value. Page 55.
Chair, if I may draw Councillor's attention to the comments that Councillor Trumbull made earlier, which was an assurance on the continuing viability of facility and the fact that the locality team of Dutch Council are working with the sports development team to ensure its continued running. That reflects what came from sport and active wellbeing in North Yorkshire. Members will note also that the Town Football Club, although having some issues with that arrangement, also are not proposing that the council make an application to register the site as an asset for community value. And it may be, from my experience elsewhere, that in doing so it creates difficulties for those who are running the facility if they're seeking particularly to develop the facility separate from the school site.
Any comments? There was a recommendation that the council considers whether there is evidence for proceeding or not proceeding with an application. I think, to be honest, to put this to bed, I think we either need a motion to proceed or a motion not to proceed, and otherwise it will be discussed in this.
Chair, I was up at the 3G pitch over the winter months with the rugby club, and it's a brilliant facility because other clubs haven't referred to rugby. Other clubs have all had their pitches cried off because of the conditions, and they couldn't play on anything. But that is a superb facility. And I think that we need to push it and make sure that it stays there for us, for our kids, even for our sport team. Because football is interesting, the rugby is interesting, and the kids with the upcoming for junior rugby, junior football, and hockey and all that. It's a brilliant facility. And I think we should take on it again.
Councillor Barnett?
Yeah, what is the sort of discussion around changing toilet facilities look like? What is that?
I don't know, but that's...
Well, it's quite important.
Yes, but with respect to the discussion that we're taking, we know that the 3G pitch may develop when we get the facilities. The issue is at the moment, does the council feel that we should support proceeding with an application? Councillor Brown?
We delayed this decision for 2 months so we could be given more information. We have been given a little information here, and we've heard more information from the clerk. I cannot see anywhere that there is a bona fide reason here to undertake the original request to take it under, or to, what was the phrase of the look at?
To apply to register it as an asset.
To apply to register it as a community asset. Therefore, I would suggest a motion is that we do not apply to register it as a community asset, as we have not been given sufficient information to justify that decision, and have been advised and reassured both by North Yorkshire County Council and by the other interested parties that they don't feel the need for it either.
Councillor Turner?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm sort of kind of happy with what Councillor Brown has said, but having worked for council for many years and know the way it is, do we have anything in writing that assures us from North Yorkshire Council that this pitch will remain a community asset I know they're saying they will, but that's easily said. Have we got anything in writing that confirms that pitch will remain a community asset?
The core governing document is the Community Use Agreement that is referred to as CUA in the submission by Matt Pearson. And that is also referred to by, or was referred to by Councillor Trump. The development of that Community Use Agreement and the continued acceptance of the Football Foundation that it is a viable document and establishes a governance which says which parties are involved in managing the facility and how that goes forward. It would be reasonable for the Town Council to maintain an active interest in whether or not the Community Use Agreement is approved by the Football Foundation and whether it is whether relevant clubs, including the Rugby Club and the Football Club, are involved in the governance. My advice would be, it's not a matter that the Town Council itself can take on, but it is a matter that the Town Council could scrutinise in discussion with county councillors or unitary authority members, and indeed with the relevant officers if the council was so minded to do it.
Councillor Marston.
Who would be making the application to register it as a asset value? Us or some other body?
Chair, the original submission was by the Community Interest Company, which was turned down by North Yorkshire Council because it was stated that they did not have a legitimate community interest. It was suggested to them through a meeting of the community, with the community network and through the routes, that the Town Council would be an alternative body that could make that application. However, that's led to this series of interventions where it is said by officers of North Yorkshire Council and by members of North Yorkshire Council that the existing community use agreement and the continued use of the site provides it with an independent future that isn't associated with the existing education use of the external school site, and that there is a commitment to continue to develop the pitch and the support facilities, and that that's wrapped up and supported by the community use agreement. If I can remind council that it is a paper exercise that uses the Local Map 2011 provisions to register a community, an asset of community value. That simply puts it on a list. That means if there was any suggestion of disposal, there would be two pauses in that process. One, to inform the community, and two, to enable the community to bid. But again, it's not concrete. It's nothing concrete. It doesn't force a sale to the community. It simply allows the community an opportunity in moratorium.
Councillor Wyatt.
There's a whole subject over the morning there, and what happens if the school building goes? Who will own that pitch? Who will be fully responsible for it?
Hastings Stand Chair, North Yorkshire Council owns the pitch. Its commitment through the community use agreement and its continued use of the Football Foundation funding, which otherwise it has to return, is the assurance. Now, what has been suggested here is that the current community use agreement will be reviewed with the Football Foundation, but that it still provides security and governance as to all the agreements that they have with funders. They still need to do some work to secure the site, but that they have put in place plans to retain changing facilities and enable people to use them, and the utilities are in place and so on. So there is an active programme of separating the use of the pitch from the use of the rest of the school site, and that North Yorkshire retain ownership and would retain ownership as being sound through
council nothing to register it, and no onus of legality on it. It's purely a paper thing that we register it for future use. And I think that's very important, something that we can do, just to register it.
Well, we have a motion from Councillor Brown, which effectively says that we will not proceed with an application. Seconded by Councillor Mulcahy. So, unless you have any other views.
I'll second Councillor Smith's one.
Well,
If we can pick up for the first motion, that means then we're going to proceed.
No, but not unless you have a motion to proceed, surely. I don't know.
No, I'm asking, that's right.
we have a motion that's proposed and seconded that we do not submit an application for an access to community interest for the 3G pitch.
Yes. So therefore, can I then make a proposal if that's defeated? I've already said the proposal now.
If the majority of councils say that they wish to vote against not submitting, then basically the council would be supporting the submission.
It's not necessarily
under the circumstances, because it is a motion not to proceed, if that fails, it doesn't automatically because, but it would mean that a second one could be brought forward if that is ambiguous, or an amendment could be moved. The amendment can't overturn the recommendation not to proceed, so it can't be a recommendation to remove the word not, for example.
So let's go with the recommendation that the council does not proceed with. We have a proposal, we have a second.
Just one second. In the minutes, it's not saying that we are going to proceed with the application of the town council. It's saying whether there is evidence to support proceeding or not proceeding with the application. So it's supporting who?
Well, precisely. I think we've got to make a decision. Are we going to proceed or not proceed based on the information that's been submitted in this?
And I think
submitting an application.
But that's not what it says. It says supporting an application.
To support proceeding or not proceeding with an application. So does the council proceed with an application or not? We have a proposal to say the council does not. All those in favour of supporting the block.
Can I propose an amendment to that?
What would be the amendment, Councillor Nutt?
That we defer a decision for 1 month and we approach the Football Foundation again and North Country Council and Whitby Town Football Club to work them to pull the finger out and give us something that we can properly work with, because they've all been dragging their heels over this, and we're left rather in limbo where people want us to register it, other people don't want us to register it. Basically, I'm in favour of not registering it at the moment because we don't have sufficient information or surety of the ancillary facilities to make it worthwhile doing.
Well, so could I just suggest the wording is, the amendment is, at the present moment, the council feels that there is not enough evidence to support proceeding with an application.
And that we chase the interest.
Well, there's not enough evidence at the moment to support proceeding with an application. If it changes,
okay.
So what page are you looking for now?
The motion is the council notes that there is not enough evidence to support proceeding with an application to register the 3G pitch as an asset of community value.
Yes, I'll go with that.
Which means that we don't wait at the moment, but we put this to bed unless anything else comes up.
Okay. It is an asset to the town.
I support you at the moment. Tell them to get the finger out and give me information. They've had 2 months.
Sorry, unless I have a formal amendment, I've got a motion and it's seconded that the council does not proceed with submitting an application. Do I have a viable amendment to that, if you second it.
You just made the amendment.
What's your amendment?
We give it a month.
That we do not proceed with this at the moment, we defer for a month, and in the meantime chase interested parties to come up with solid proposals regarding the surrounding infrastructure, the surrounding facilities, to enable us to register something that is really worthwhile.
Who's going to chase and who's
Well,
going to...
okay, we have got an amendment. Let's just vote on the amendment then.
I will second it.
Yes, I noted. Yes, vote on the amendment. All those in favour of the amendment?
Can I just ask what's up to Councillor Allen's proposal then?
We didn't make a proposal.
We made a proposal. All those in favour of the amendment? Keep your hands up, please. Against? So the amendment... So that amendment is now a substantive motion that we now need to vote on. All those in favour of the substantive motion?
Can I just read the substantive motion?
The President of the Council has now been available to proceed with support and defers for a month, but requesting information.
Well, that's what you're saying.
It was pulling your finger out, but we need to work in the right way.
Mr. Mayor, that's a question. It's only deferred for a month. It's just come back to council.
Yeah.
We've got a meeting in the month.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
There is a meeting in June to approve the ADR.
Okay, well, can we have it on that agenda?
It will be also.
Okay.
Thank you for clarification.
So, that's the motion. Yes, all those in favour?
What are we on now?
Defer for a month, get the information.
I'm in favour.
Against? Abstentions?
2, 3.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So then planning application. We consider response to plan application ZF24/00491/RGS, erection of 3-storey building for marine-based activities with associated car parking, vehicles, pedestrian access roads, footpaths, and limited soft landscaping, and Devil Walk, Lambourne Road, Whitby, North Yorkshire, YH24 1YN.
Can I propose we receive this, please? Or vote yes to it?
Well, I think consider responsibly, yes or no. I will allow councillors wish to speak. They can have. Do any councillors wish to speak to this before we take a vote?
I will refer back to my declaration of interest as a town hall.
Councillor, well, Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I'm just about to say, in view of the vote from the town council, I feel I can only vote against this.
You would have to specify. I would ask you what your planning reasons were.
It's too high.
Thank you. Any other people wish to comment before we take a vote?
Well, my public thoughts on this are pretty well published.
Have you predetermined your view on this?
I would like someone to convince me otherwise.
You were predetermined then?
I have...
Then really it would be advisable for you not to vote as you were predetermined.
I'm not predetermined.
Have you stated anywhere in writing
yes, I have.
that you are against the application? You have predetermined, so you would be wise to abstain from it. So we move on to concerns. Councillor
I'll vote against this simply because I don't know what the proposed maritime-based activities are going to take place. I know what I've been told about. Whether that works out in practice, I doubt very much.
Well, you have to base your response on the information submitted in the planning application, because that forms the basis of the information, the evidence, and the basis of their objection.
Can I just say that whatever it's what you're saying, it's a non-material consideration, I'm correct in that, and that's something that we can't consider. What we're actually considering is the building. Okay, so it's the actual building, the structure of the building, and what really surprised me and interested me was the support from Whitby Civic Society, Historic England and the North York Conservation Officer, who all offered conditions and amendments which did seem very, very sensible and blended into the area. When I initially looked at those pictures, I thought, my goodness, what are we getting? But when you actually saw it in the landscape, it did actually blend in. I think the negative for me is the parking spaces. And I do, sorry, if I can finish, thank you. I do think in terms of the parking spaces, would it be possible for us to add a condition in that when it goes to North Yorkshire, that they look for further parking spaces to alleviate the 55 that we will potentially be losing. I know those 55 are temporary parking spaces. They're not permanent, they can be withdrawn at any time by the harbour, but I would like to see if they can add in 55 parking spaces or 5 spaces, or even just extend the park and ride, the opening hours of the park and ride. If we could put that in as a suggestion of a condition, I think that would be very helpful. Thank you.
That's awesome. I want to apply from planning objections. I would object on inappropriate urban development, inappropriate massing, out of character of urban area, and inappropriate maintenance of parking.
Sorry, Councillor.
Inappropriate urban development, inappropriate massing, out of character of local area, and inappropriate negative impact on local parking footprint.
You've got the appropriate facilities for people.
I don't think that's the point.
You don't remember the
So you were proposing that as a response, as well to recommend refusal. Not to object. We cannot recommend. We will object. Probably sitting as a constituency. Yes, but we will object. We cannot approve or refuse. No, don't approve or refuse. We can object. We recommend to the county council that they refuse it or reduce. Right, so we have a second of the council.
Just one query against Councillor You said blends in.
I said what?
You said it blends in.
No, we're not going to question other councillors' views. They have stated what they wish to say.
I just wish to say the design and access document says.
Can I just say
not to be a passage.
We're not having a debate across each council can put forward their own view, which council has done. Councillor
Secondly.
You second Councillor Hanson's motion, which is a motion to object stroke refuse to the planning application based on the planning conditions to planning reasons Councillor Hanson has given. All those in favour of...
So, we're not out of the colleagues then family or... Is that something?
I'm on the project for my council.
In terms of this as a planning application, prime safety being a member of the county board doesn't include participation in a vote on
Right. But
absolutely more flexible, I suggest.
no, I think it would be advisable for councils to abstain on that basis, same as pre-determination. So all those in favour of...
Can I make an amendment? Can I amend the amendment to say that we should take most cognizance from the people who are actually on the planning committee, because they're the only people who actually understand and have been trained in planning matters.
Councillor Marston's motion has been proposed and seconded, which is to object to the planning application. All those in favour of supporting Councillor Marston's motion, raise your hand. You can't vote. You were predetermined.
Councillor Swanwick voted for it, and he's been
He's not on the town council. He's not on the town council. I think it's advisable for you. That is my advice. I'd advise you not to vote because you've gone on public record prior to this meeting opposing the application. All those who support oppose the application. Against.
Sorry, we've already voted, haven't we?
We're voting against the amendment.
No. The proposal was to object on the grounds of overdevelopment, on the massing, on it being out of character, and on the loss of parking provision. There were two votes in favour of that and 5 against.
Can you just give a personal view on anything?
Well, so what do you do then? So the motion is failed.
The motion has failed.
So there is a motion then.
Did not Councilman Peckham propose?
What was your motion?
My motion would be to support the planning application in light of the comments of Whitby Civic Society, let me just turn my sheet, Historic England and the North Yorkshire Conservation Officer, but with parking. So conditions for additional parking need to be attached. Is that possible?
The condition also needs parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go for that.
Do we have that support for that?
I want to see. So we're going to go on 5 parking spaces on the
Chair, can I just note if there's a seconder for that?
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Knott.
So 65 parking spaces on the east side, just on the one line at Scarborough Council. Nobody's mentioned that. So if we reinstated other half of the public car park on Churchill Wood gain 55 parking spaces, somehow nobody seems to be interested in that.
With respect, Councillor, we are interested in that, but it's not relevant to this planning application. No, apart from what has been said, that we need to look at the issue of parking. So we have a proposer and a seconder. All those in favour of Councillor Mulhern's motion to support the application, raise your hand. Against? Abstentions? Is the motion carried?
The motion is carried 5-4. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, will you have to excuse me? I am losing the hearing.
Okay. 15. Referrals from Town Assembly. 57. At the Town Assembly I will paraphrase this. The Town Assembly took place on Monday the 25th of March. There was a number of votes taken by the electors requesting that the Town Council took the following actions. Whitby Town Council should write against the Minister regarding marketplace and maritime hub. The Whitby Town Council should write to North Yorkshire Land for the children's play area to replace the Bunder's Garden suitably close to replace it. See, Whitby Town Council should write to North Yorkshire Council and ask why the paddling pool to be left dirty and then it would be cleaned and opened. NYC will send a reply within 21 days. And B, Whitby Town Council should write to North Yorkshire Council to express concern about the safety of the walk to school routes along the timber track. Teachers and parents say it is not safe. Regarding A, we wrote on the Town Assembly's behalf to the Minister for local
The council was in September of last year, and the letter was written to the Minister on the 2 points that were raised on that proposal.
Did we get to the response?
No formal response.
I think the issue is because we did get formal response, could the council write again to that one? Again, with that, ask North Yorkshire to ask what they're doing with Bunder's Gardens. If the paddling pool has already been sorted out, and Town Council to write to North Yorkshire Council to represent concern about the safety of the water school routes for others in request from the town assembly and we write to people.
Yes, I would that we follow up and write as follows.
Yes.
Second, all those in favour? Those points that we put down, ADB, the executive suite, which has been done. Sorry? You have to say it.
Well, I voted against the whole of the
16, Council Representative on external bodies, help to dragway members to represent town council on name bodies to report and activities since the last meeting. Has there been any activity?
The Majesty on behalf of friends of my father, I have thanked them for all that we have with the father that we've done.
Thank you. Any other reports? Can we just let Councillor Coughlan's further report? Councillor Marson, seconder. Someone? Councillor Coughlan, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions? 17 mayor's reports, civic engagement. I only had one mayor indicated, and that was a very delightful session with a Catholic school, not based in Whitby, but actually were holding a leadership for their junior pupils at Spexley Castle, and I was invited to go and talk about leadership and politics. I have to say, they were a delightful group of children. If they are indicative of the children coming through the schools, I think we're going to be all right and move forward. Very knowledgeable. And we'll receive that. Councillor Coughlan, second, Councillor Marshall, all those in favour? Very much.
So, can I just say something in the last report before my voice goes on the other? Can I say thank you to our town staff and our deputy staff for all the nonsense and all the things that they have to do? But we do actually appreciate everything that we do. Thank you.
Councillor Clark.
Chair, it's quite long. There are a couple of things that I do wish council to resolve upon, particularly our broad council rather than reading through the whole thing. But I have put a recommendation on the outcome of the auditors' work and our crew recommendations, which aren't material really until council considers this next ADR, we're in to consider this response accordingly. That's what council's position.
What page is that?
That's on page 61. So the recommendation of council acknowledges its position in relation to the conclusions and shows review notes the bill, but in terms of its impact on next year's ADR, which will be considered in a month or so, there will be detailed commentary on that. Although there is a recommendation, the King's Court Director is currently having a process in the subject members feel very strongly we wish to sit somewhere else. I would welcome resolution on that. There's also later on, in terms of the banking hub, just to note really where we are with that. And on the vacancies, members will be aware that now both by-elections will be held on the 20th of June. North Yorkshire has asked whether the council wishes to issue polling cards. That would be a cost of £1,600 for each, so the net total would be £3,200 to issue polling cards for both by-elections. I would request a decision as to whether or not council wishes to do that. So those are the key elements, but obviously if members wish to add to that or to raise anything else on those issues, that would be great.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Could I just move to point A of the class? I know we're going to make decisions on the others, but I think if I put in what I want to say, it will be moved as a whole possibly. But on point A regarding the schools in this town, I've got serious concerns, and I'm sure everybody else back in this room, and as if it isn't bad enough that we're reading that our school has been allowed almost just over 8% less in their budget per pupil than the compared to a national average. I think there's also serious concerns in this town as to what is actually on the education format for those pupils moving into a new school. So with that in mind, I would like to make an amendment to section A of the clerk's report, and within that I would like an amendment to read, due to the serious concerns of parents and students regarding the readiness of the new Whitby school for the September 2024 term, this council invites the Whitby Secondary Partnership Board of Governors and the North Yorkshire Executive Member for Education, Councillor Annabel Wilkinson, to attend the meeting as soon as possible to update this council on the current position for provision of secondary education in Whitby from September 2024. I've got it here, but yes.
Councillor Hart seconds that. All those in favour? Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
So we note we have a recommendation on page 61 that the council acknowledges its position in relation to the conclusion of the limited assurance review for the 22-23 ADAR. I have someone to accept that. That's enough.
I will. I will propose acceptance. Can I just draw one's attention to the cost of the objections that were raised, which are thickened at £10,000, plus our own internal costs, which are estimated at £2,000, £12,000 of taxpayers' money that was just wasted and thrown away. And it's disgraceful.
Can we have support for the council?
Yes, I understand what you're saying, Councillor Knox, but it was wrong. If it wasn't wrong, we wouldn't incur these costs.
No, I'm sorry.
They were wrong, that's the whole point.
But then to investigate the cost, whether or not, and as has been said, we will not stand the cost. They don't look at the objections and say, oh, because there's no foundation in that, we're not charging you. You pay whether or not you correct or they have to investigate. Their investigations found there was no issue. We are paying just under £10,000 for them to say there was no issues.
I don't think it's quite no issues. Minor issues.
Well,
I would just like that noted, that was all.
Okay, none of the objections were held. All the matters brought to the auditor's attention resulted in 3 recommendations. And there was also a note on other matters not affecting our opinion on which we draw the council's attention.
Can I just ask one more question? So when councillors just walk out of the meeting, it's a no meeting, is that acceptable? Do you accept that?
I can't detain them.
No, come on here. Well, I just think it's rude.
Well, what it does mean is that the decisions that have been taken by the council that they are not privy to, and therefore it means they will have if they disagree with those decisions, it is just because they're not here to take the discussion or to vote on it. So, and I know what you said to Councillor Smith, but I think it is worth saying none of the objections were upheld.
Okay, but I think it's
The council has a proposal on council not to accept the recommendation. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Brown, all those in favour? Against? Abstentions?
The other ones, particularly on the polling cards.
Polling cards. I would say I really thought this seemed not to be an efficient use of money, but I also know the fact that if the council reviewed it, the council does not submit polling cards, will it be seen that we are not publicising the vote and could we criticise for that? And on that basis, I regrettably would have to say I would have to support the polling cards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would actually agree. I think it's criminal in one way that we'll be spending money that on polling cards that will be thrown at the bottom of the bin and not used. However, the public perception will be that we're doing everything we can not to encourage a thorough election process. So I would support that we do pay for polling cards.
clarify for my own information, if we're going to spend all this money, does this mean that we have got more than one person willing to stand for any of these reasons?
No, we don't know.
We simply have 10 people who've decided that they're happy to spend council money on this process, and that we have no alternative, therefore, but to show that we are being democratic, even so potentially we could have polling cards with no names on.
Voting cards will only go out if there is an election.
If there's more than one person.
If it's an uncontested election, then voting cards will not be sent out.
Right.
Because people won't be going to the polls.
Yeah, fine.
Where's the target we set out in the nomination form?
Two sets have been sent out, and I feel the set actually depends to the members of the House, and they are upstairs now. They are available. I'll put on there.
Just one small point. Why don't we just put that there so everybody knows?
Because you have to follow the legal. Elections are a legal process. Nothing to do with the council.
Yeah.
We have got to follow the national procedure. The thing that we have to follow is the money to the poll card. So we have a vote for the second that the town council will agree to the cost of polling cards for the two elections if they take place in State Street and West Street. Yes? All those in favour? Against? Abstentions?
Mr. Mayor, can I just point out, as from next Monday, you will be
All right, thank you.
if we have an election, it will be
Urban policy, flooding awareness, standing item 5.5, the 2nd of July.
none.